Fall is one of my favorite times of year, and especially to visit Dollywood during its Harvest Festival. We've got all of the tips and tricks you need to know to visit this spectacular festival coming up on the Oceaneers Travel Show. Sound like a dying cat. Or a cow that, I don't know, is struggling. Anyway.
Welcome to the Oceaneers Travel Show.
Coming.
Welcome to the Tired Edition.
The Tired Edition.
I don't think we've ever said our last name on here before. You just did.
Uh-oh.
Beep.
Yeah, we'll bleep that out. Not that it matters. I think
don't really care, but
you can find my name on my website, and I think, yeah. I mean,
I don't care. I just don't think we ever said it on here before.
I don't either.
Well, good. Now everybody knows. Beep. Our last name is Beep. All right.
How's everybody doing? Middle of October.
We have
everybody getting geared up for spooky season and trick or treating.
Been busy little bees.
We typically don't like traditionally trick or treat here. We do like trunk or treats and festivals and stuff like that. Trick or treating, like
not big around here.
Door to door has kind of died
around here at least.
There's a couple of neighborhoods that do really well, but like I can put a full box of full size candy bars on my front porch and they'll still be there at midnight.
Yeah, I mean, like
there's just
we get 2 people.
And we live in the middle of town. It's not like we're off by ourselves somewhere. We live in the middle of town. There's probably 12.
Whoa. Wait a minute. There's towns in Tennessee. It's not all just rural farms. That's what a lot of people think who don't live here.
But I've got like 12 people in my general little area right here where we live. And none of us really get trick-or-treaters.
No.
So, yeah. So we typically just do like the trunk or treats. There's several churches around that have like
fall festivals and things like that.
And we'd go do that. It just seems to be easier. And it's kind of one-stop shop. And we usually have candy to go in lunches until Christmas.
You know what else is a one-stop shop?
What?
Oceaneerstravel.com. You can get all your videos, podcasts, and merchandise, as well as book your cruise all in one place.
Don't forget to get your dunce shirts.
Wow, that was terrible. You set it up for me. I had to take it.
I know. Good for you. That shameless plug.
We have been quite busy. We
have
come back from Williamsburg, Busch Gardens.
Yes,
Immediately followed that up with Dollywood.
Well,
and getting ready to.
Yeah, we're getting ready to go back south to
Disney for a whole week
for Thanksgiving, which that has become kind of a tradition for us. We don't have a big, large extended family,
so we pretty much spend Thanksgiving at Disney.
Yeah, we take our stuff and we go south.
And then, unlike traditional, we go to Delmonico's Italian for Thanksgiving just about every year here for the last 3 or 4 years.
If you're in Orlando and you're looking for a good like steak house / Italian, it's like a steak and spaghetti type place, but
they have Thanksgiving dinner too, though.
So much more than that, but it's a delicious place to eat. It's Delmonico's. It's on International, right off of it's kind of like the Beeline, I guess, where the Beeline starts off of I-4. Very convenient.
One of my favorite restaurants anywhere in the world is Delmonico's. I've never had a bad meal there or service. We
usually do not go to Orlando. We don't eat here. It's very rare. And we have to be, doing something specific if we don't go here.
Fantastic steak.
There more than a couple of days, we are going to Delmonico's. It's really cutesy themed. It's very mafia-esque.
Yeah.
So you go in and there's like caricatures all over the walls of different
Italian actors,
and
sports people.
It's just really cool.
So we've been busy, and then of course, we got that for Thanksgiving, and then we're under 100 days away from Icon.
Yeah, under 100 days. This has been a year now in the making. We booked right at a year ago.
On opening day.
Yeah, we're excited. There's so much that's still left to like plan for, and the shows and, getting ready to go. I'm booking our pre and post hotel stays this week. Trying to figure all that out.
Well, let's just go ahead and jump in the news and start it out with Icon news.
Yeah,
Well, what do you got for us? Under 100 days.
Icon is under 100 days, and there was a price drop this week. Prices for the inaugural are still outrageous, but if you happened to have booked, I would say within the last 6 months, definitely check and or call your cruise professional to reprice, because there has been some decreases on price. I have seen a couple of people on some chat groups I belong to get over $1,000 in savings.
Yes, I'm yawning.
Which is huge. But the prices now are still double from what we booked it for.
Put them up.
Yeah, it's still bizarre. But that's what happens. Price and demand, the price goes up.
Totally just went Wizard of Oz on you.
You did.
Speaking of which, Wizard of Oz is the show on Icon.
It is. The Broadway style show is Wizard of Oz. I'm looking forward to that.
Boy, I'm just telling all that right in today. Just
You are.
transitioning nicely.
One thing about going on new ships or inaugural sailings is that typically all of the look at him. Typically all of the shows and stuff are not ready. So they usually have one main production show that's good to go and one ice show and one aqua show. On this ship, they're doing multiple. So hopefully we will have at least one show that we can partake in while we're on the ship.
Royal Caribbean, if it's not Wizard of Oz, we riot.
I need an oil can. So yeah. So Icons under 100 days, definitely already prepping for that one.
One more news story.
Throw your pen.
No, I just dropped my pen.
You just like went, yeah.
Actually, I didn't. My pen is right here.
You guys saw that.
Nobody saw anything. This is a podcast. They can't see anything.
If you're watching our podcast, then you know that
That's a travel show.
Through the pen.
That's a travel show.
Yeah. And you're showing.
If you're listening, it's a podcast. If you're watching, it's a travel show.
We're just multifunctional here.
And some of us aren't functional at all, apparently.
No.
All right. Other news this week. We talked about this just a couple weeks ago. The Galactic Star Cruiser closed-ish.
It did close in its current format, but apparently there was a survey that went out. And it asked you to, I guess, rate the likability if you would visit a Disney or a Star Wars themed Disney hotel, and give you some ideas of what you would like to see in said hotel. So this leaves me to believe that this is not going away. It's just getting a redo.
We kind of speculated on that when the news originally broke. I cannot see them spending all this money to build this building and theming and everything else just to last a year and just tear it down.
Yes. So, some things.
Not without giving something else a shot.
Some things that were mentioned were like some retheming of some suites to make like some, dark side and Jedi, like some Sith suites, some Jedi suites where you could like choose your poison, adding a pool like we had talked about, changing up some of the dining a little bit, and just kind of redoing it a little, somewhat.
Don't think it's going to be an immersive experience, a show like it was. I think it's just going to be a themed hotel, essentially.
Yeah, I do too.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I think it'll get way more traffic with a lower price point. And so, excited to see what becomes of that. You know that, there's so many Imagineers over there at Disney. They can figure this out, and they probably already have. We're just awaiting the, final nail that they're actually doing this. So, yeah.
Well, that's pretty much the news for this week.
I know. We got some...
We're going to get into...
meat and potatoes.
There you are with your meat and potatoes again.
That's like the heart of the meal. Go ahead, get your phlegm out of the way.
Welcome to the South.
I have worse allergies in the fall than
me too.
Spring.
I apologize for the hacking, people. Let's move on.
So we had a chance to visit Dollywood recently.
Well, the episode that we did about Busch Gardens was called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. If we're going to do an episode about Dollywood, it would be the good, and the great. There is nothing bad to say about Dollywood.
No.
It is just a great park. And I'm not saying that just because it's our home park. We're pass holders. It is just a very well ran, well designed.
Yeah.
It has a personality of its own.
It does.
And it sticks with that personality. It does not try to be something it's not.
It does not. It does not have different, like, themed lands necessarily. I mean, there's some decor differentiation.
But they all tie in together.
But everything, I mean, you're in Appalachia.
They know who they are.
You're in Dolly's mountain home, technically.
That was one of the problems with Busch Gardens is it didn't have a personality. It didn't have a theme that fit.
And
This does.
Nothing flowed at Busch Gardens.
And
With Dollywood, you at least have a flow.
And the landscaping and design, I don't care what they say about Busch Gardens being voted best, this, that. Dollywood's right up there with it. I mean, no doubt.
Yeah.
The flowers are beautiful.
One thing you will notice, especially for the Harvest Festival, is just the overabundance of fall decor. You've got pumpkins
everywhere. How many pumpkins do you think are in that park?
Oh gosh, probably 5,000.
Oh,
just maybe
at
more.
At least 5,000.
And I'm talking the pumpkins, the real pumpkins, the show pumpkins, and the like decorative like pumpkins that they've sculpted into things.
I bet you it's closer to 10 or 20,000.
It probably is. I mean, if you count every little pumpkin and gourd and whatever that you see.
So we wanted to go to the Harvest Festival, so we did.
And we've been before, but we've never been and actually taken a deep dive into the festival itself and like what all you can do and see. And so we took a day off of work and we went on a weekday so that we could be without the child. Sorry, child. And just take it all in.
So let's preface this. We arrived at the park and were able to park in parking lot A, which tells you a lot.
Yeah, it was a weekday and there was rain in the forecast. Now, before we went, I looked at the radar and it looked like the rain was going to move out with a chance of like a spotty shower here or there, like 30%. So we decided to go on anyway. And yes, this was ridiculous. There
was nobody there.
We didn't get there at park open either. We got there about an hour afterwards. It was about
11:30.
11:30. And I mean, we were parking like maybe 10 rows from the front. I mean, it was
insane.
No
trolley, just walk right to the front.
There was a day a couple of weeks ago, because I belong to some Dollywood chat groups as well, where at 10:30 a.m. they were parking in the adjacent water park parking lot and eventually had to completely shut down parking because there was no more room or space available. I know that was fall break and, the weather was exceptional on those couple of days, but for it to be such a stark contrast to today was crazy.
We didn't go for the rides per se, but none of the rides had longer than a 10-minute wait.
No, even the brand new rides, it was a walk on. I mean, it was crazy.
We only rode 3 rides the whole day. We were there specifically for festivals and specifically for this is where you're supposed to hold it up. She is so bad at this. For the
tasting pass.
There you go. Blah, blah, blah. You missed your cue.
No, I'm asleep over here. Gosh. Dollywood does something with their festivals now where you can purchase a tasting pass. This little baby was $39.99 for normal people. If you have a pass, you can get this for $36.99.
And what do you get with that, Robin? Tell us.
Well, you can try any 5 of the festival foods for one low price.
You just take this bad boy up there, they scan it, and you pick what you want.
They scan it and you pick what you want. This also does not have to be done in one day. So if you are, need to leave early, if it starts to rain, if you want to come back, you can have credits still remaining on your tasting pass and use it the next time you visit. It is good through the 30th, which is as long as the festival lasts. And you can buy these at any festival tasting location, We got ours at Spotlight Bakery, which is right as you enter the park.
Yeah, they hit you with the smells just
Yeah,
as soon as you walk through the gate.
No worries. So we did do 5 of the items. We got 5. We shared each one of them. Yeah, we had some good stuff.
Just bought one pass between us, and we shared everything. We also did eat at the park. Nothing fancy. We got a burger and some fries.
We split the burger. We ate
but it was a good burger. It had
Front Porch Cafe. We had not eaten there in our entirety life of going to Dollywood.
So we split a burger there as well, burger and fries. But it was a pork barbecue burger that had
pork belly on it,
on the burger, and it was really good.
Fried green tomatoes.
It was solid, very good, very solid, and very fair priced.
It was, but we knew we wanted to do the tasting pass, so we didn't want to completely fill our bellies. So we had some room for that.
And then it started raining.
Yeah.
So we had to put everything on pause. So we went and sat through a show, which was decent.
It was.
Comedy, music type show.
Yeah, he sings songs, kind of has fun with...
Lovelace is his last name. I don't remember. Tim Lovelace. That's it. Yep. Look him up online. It was good, wholesome.
It was wholesome content. Definitely trying to get some good messages across about like following your dreams and staying persistent. And, that resonated with some young people.
Talented musician as well. He could play some instruments very well.
Play the guitar. He could pick just like any old timer. If you think of like Buck Owens or
Chet Atkins.
So
very talented guy. That was enjoyable. We were in there for 40 minutes or so.
Enough time for the rain to pass.
And then it was on.
Then it was time to eat.
Then it was on.
So we
went back to the Spotlight Bakery.
Yes, and for our first culinary treat,
my favorite. I always love to have whoopie.
We had a whoopie pie. And basically,
that's not what I said.
This was a whoopie pie. This was 2 very soft pumpkin cookies with some cream cheese icing in between.
Yum.
It was quite delicious. It was pretty good size. I mean, we'll have a picture here, I'm sure, but
it was big.
I mean, it was probably like that maybe.
1 is definitely enough for 2 people.
Probably about the size of this mug.
So 1 is enough for 2 people.
Yes, it was
very tasty.
Very tasty. It definitely tastes like fall, like grandma's house, like pumpkin pie. And
not overpowerful, though.
Not too sweet. It was just the right ratio of cookie to icing because you didn't get that sickly sweet taste of that cream cheese icing, that you normally.
And it was sweet, but not overly sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So I highly recommend it.
Good amount of flavors. Definitely up there towards the top on our festival bests.
So we did that because we're the kind of people that start with dessert first.
Well, we had already had our half a hamburger.
Then we moved on to Robin really wanted to try the
potato tornado.
The potato tornado.
It was maple glazed, bacon topped potato tornado.
This one was just okay for me.
Can you stop shaking the whole house?
No.
Thank you.
This one was just okay for me.
I loved it. It was kettle cooked like potato, so it almost tasted like a kettle chip. And you've seen these at some other parks, but it's kind of like a potato on a skewer that's like spiralized.
Spiralized.
Spiralized
shirt coming soon at oceanairestravel.com.
And then fried.
It was good. It was hard to eat. It was hard to keep the toppings on it.
Yeah, it came on a skewer, so you wanted to kind of just bite into it, but if you bit into it, it fell
apart.
And all of the toppings ended up in the thing that it was in. So the easiest way was to pick a chip off and scoop. But then your hands got really messy.
The glaze was really good. The maple glaze was really good on it. The chips were solid. It was just okay for me though.
I loved it.
I think that was her favorite.
It was my favorite. I like savory snacks over sweet snacks. I know, surprise, but yes, it was my favorite.
So from there, we went on to the next location. Nice leisurely walk. Didn't get in a hurry.
We went by Dolly's home and looked in, and they've got a replica of the one room kind of cabin that her.
Was that her actual home, or was it just a copy?
Replica. The actual home still stands, but
what is the actual home now?
It's just her home, I guess. It's preserved. I don't know exactly. I've never been up there, but apparently it still exists.
We'll have to find that and check that out.
I don't know if you can get to it. I'll have to look it up. But anyway,
yeah.
She's from Sevierville, and her 10 brothers and sisters, along with her 2 parents, grew up in a one-room house. And to see said house
is shocking.
It's shocking to think that 10, 12, 13 people lived there. But the way she describes her childhood, she says that they had more love than you could ever want, and they never wanted for anything because they had each other. So, I mean, you got to love Dolly.
Dolly is an American treasure.
Don't come for Dolly. We will fight you.
So she's Dolly and Betty White, American treasures.
Fortunately, Betty White.
I know.
We
don't want to talk about that. I'll cry.
Yeah.
So, yes, I was a Betty White fan.
Yeah.
But they were American treasures.
Dolly's she's just wholesome, and she's good. She's just a good person.
And she really does put her money where her mouth is. You would not believe the things that she has done for the community around here and continues to do.
Yes.
So nothing bad to say about Dolly, and anybody that does, they're just wrong.
But as you walk through Dollywood, of course, you've got the pumpkins, but there are also show pumpkins here.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some pumpkins that are over 2,000 pounds. That just blows my mind.
Oh, yeah.
To think, I mean, how do they even get these pumpkins down there?
Forklifts.
Yeah.
Semi-trailers and forklifts.
It's just crazy. But we're probably talking about 30 show pumpkins that were in Dollywood.
Huge.
Some of them 2,000 plus pounds. Most of them were probably in the 8 to 1,200 pound range.
That's a lot of pies.
But that's a lot of pumpkins. And there's, decorations just galore all over this park. So it's worth it if you're not going to do anything but just come stroll through.
Like I said, we rode 3 rides and had a fantastic day.
We did.
So then we went to my favorite of the day.
Yes. Miss Lillian's Smokehouse Corner.
Now,
for some.
They wood fire macaroni and cheese over a wood-fired oven.
Yes.
And then, if that wasn't enough, because I'm a mac and cheese connoisseur, let's throw some barbecue pork on that bad boy.
Yep.
Yeah. That happened.
Little scallion on top and
macaroni and cheese, barbecue pork.
Yeah.
This is high quality.
Out of a cast iron pot.
Over a wood stove.
If you've not been to the South, then you can't really relate. But what? He's having a moment.
I'm tasting it right now.
Okay. We cook a lot of stuff in cast iron dishes down here. Just kind of how things go. If you have cornbread and it doesn't come out of a cast iron skillet, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that.
What are you doing with your life?
So, a lot of things come out of cast iron down here. So it's just,
this was my favorite. Fantastic. Delicious.
It was good. The mac and cheese was creamy and rich.
The pork was tender.
It was. I got turned off a little bit because there was a few bones in there, which I know is easy to do when you're pulling pork. I've pulled pork myself, but I did not want to get a big mouthful of bone.
Man, I'm not touching it. There's a joke there, but I'm not going to take it.
Shut up, Charles.
We're moving on. Not even touching it.
It was tasty.
It was delicious.
Yes.
And we moved on.
Yes.
We decided to go ride our first ride of the day.
The one thing I will say about Dollywood is if you're coming, a must-do is right across from Miss Lillian's, and it is the Grist Mill where you can get the cinnamon bread.
She says must do, and we didn't do it.
We didn't because it wasn't on the tasting pass because it's an everyday thing. But
And we didn't want to fill up.
normally we would get a big thing of cinnamon bread. This, you guys,
If you haven't had Dollywood cinnamon bread, again, what are you doing with your life?
you get a hot pan of cinnamon bread with apple butter and icing. The apple butter is the way to go, in our opinion.
Yeah, throw that icing in the garbage.
Don't even bother with the icing. It's too much. But the apple butter, oh, it's so good. Get 2 or 3 apple butters instead of the icing.
Dip that cinnamon bread in that there apple butter. And
During peak times and busy times,
expect to wait.
This cinnamon bread line can get hours wait. So
this is right up there with the Gideon cookies at Disney as far as just,
yeah, sure, just popularity and goodness.
And it's worth it.
During peak times, you can also get this bread at the Spotlight Bakery, or if you are staying on Dollywood property at either of the resorts, they have them there as well.
It is.
But there's nothing like getting it fresh out of the grist mill, like when they bring it out after they've cooked it.
Still hot.
Still hot. Oh.
Just, But
Okay.
eat this right away. Don't keep it for a day or two.
No, you need to eat it.
Eat it immediately.
Like pull up one of those rocking chairs nearby and just
peel it apart, dip it in the apple butter, and go to town.
Mm-hmm. So yes, we did walk up. It's called Craftsman's Valley. They're in the heart kind of Dollywood, and here you will find all kinds of local vendors, blacksmiths. I don't know, leather.
It's all themed very much.
You can definitely
Kettle corn.
Yeah, pork rinds,
that type stuff.
But this is also where the bald eagle sanctuary is. So if you know of like endangered bald eagles, chances are they are kept for and cared for at Dollywood or by those handlers. The National Eagle Foundation, I think it's called, takes care of unreleasable, harmed or injured bald eagles.
So then we walked right past the Blazing Fury because who wants to ride that?
I love the Blazing Fury.
It's 47 years old now, 48 years old.
She's an oldie but a goodie, but she's been around a long time.
About time to put her out to pasture.
Haven't really changed a whole lot over the many years.
Just half the stuff don't work anymore.
Well, true.
Got to keep it real. But then we did go to Tennessee Tornado, and this is a good ride. It's old too.
Dollywood, most of the time when you're walking around, you're just going to walk by random rides. And so we were like, hey, why not? There's no wait.
We walked right on.
Yeah. I think we waited for one car. They only had one car.
Well, that's because we let somebody go in front of us.
They only had one. Yeah, we did let somebody go in front of us. But they only had one car running. So it was only 2 minutes between.
Yeah. It's a very short ride, 2 minutes, but it's very fast.
3 inversions.
In 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So
very cool.
Very good ride, very solid ride. Nothing fancy, your basic inversion roller coaster, but
yeah,
it's been around since the late 90s, I believe. So enjoy it.
98 maybe?
Yeah, I think that sounds about right. 95, 98, somewhere in that range.
I can't remember exactly.
Solid ride. Don't, hop on it. It's easy.
Then we went up the hill a little.
Rode Fire Chaser.
Yeah, I did Fire Chaser Express. That's one of my favorites. It's simple, and there's no inversions, but it's a forward and backward launch. It's just cute.
Good ride.
Yeah.
Then we journeyed on up to...
We had not been to Dollywood since they launched the newest attraction, Big Bear Mountain, which is the longest coaster to Dollywood. It's over 2 minutes long.
Super long.
And so we hadn't done that. Now, it's in the Wildwood Grove area, which is the newest expansion that Dollywood has done. And this does come into the context of why we didn't like Busch Gardens. Because you're going to walk all the way back to Big Bear and then have to walk all the way back out.
Yeah.
And it's not a short distance away. Once you leave the main Dollywood path, it's probably a good couple 100 yards back in there.
It's a nice area. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's a dead end. I do not like dead ends at theme parks. It's difficult for crowd control.
Yeah. So I kind of hope that maybe they'll tie it in somehow eventually. to further down the line.
That would be my only complaint about the whole new area. It is designed nice, and there's some good stuff back there.
There is.
Getting in and out is not pleasant.
And another problem that I will say is Big Bear does not have a tester seat.
Yeah, boo.
And so I made the choice to go try.
Luckily, there was not a wait.
There was not a wait, and the worker there was very kind enough to let me try to readjust, and he tried to give me some pointers, but the sensor would not turn green. So unfortunately, I had to get off. Now, the latch latched. There was no issue with the latch. I don't know how far down it needed to go because I couldn't sit there and, manipulate it enough.
The problem with this particular ride for plus size people is the bar that goes between your legs.
Yes.
If it was just a traditional lap bar or even a round the leg bar, you would not run into these problems. But with it being a between the leg bar, a T bar, this causes problems.
It does.
But I understand safety.
Yeah, and it's fine. When I looked at the car initially, it looks a lot like Fire Chaser, which Fire Chaser is just a single bucket seat and you have a lap bar. Now, if you're plus size or if you carry most of your weight in the middle, if you pull it down first and then kind of settle into the seat, you don't have any trouble because of the way the car is made. This one, the seat was a little deeper, so you couldn't get that same leverage that you could on Fire Chaser. And I don't feel like I was that far off from being able to go. So, in another couple of months when we go back, we'll try it again and we'll see what happens. Now,
I did ride it.
Charles did ride it. So what did you think?
I thought it was really fun. It's very long. It does remind me a lot of Fire Chaser as far as the way that the ride works and the way that it moves. It does have a launch, same as Fire Chaser. It's it's very smooth. No inversions, nothing crazy. I mean, it's fast. It's a lot faster than Fire Chaser, but it's just a really smooth, fun ride. Suitable for just about anybody of any age. The sound effects were my favorite part. The addition of those really added a lot to the ride. So yeah, I mean, I thought it was a very solid coaster. This is not a high thrill coaster. So if you're looking for loop-de-loops and inversions and twisties and corkscrew, this isn't that.
Yeah, I did enjoy going by the little,
but it's fun.
Dips and hearing the bear go rawr.
Yeah. It's well themed, and it is a fun ride. I don't know that I would wait an hour or an hour and a half for this, but there's very few rides that I would wait an hour.
Yeah, we don't typically like to wait in long lines.
30 minutes or so, I'm good. Anything other than that, I'll find something else to do.
Yeah, kudos.
Not a big deal.
Kudos to Dollywood because in the fact that I couldn't ride and I had to get off, and that's fine. They did give me a pass redemption.
Yeah.
So I can ride any ride in the park other than Lightning Rod, which we'll talk about that maybe. In the express lane. So I don't have to necessarily wait in line. And I can use that at any point. It doesn't have an expiration date. So,
but note to theme parks, put a tester seat outside.
Yeah.
This is just
that, like that.
There's no need.
Is, congruent to the ride. Don't put one out there that gives you false information.
Yeah. I mean, this is just common sense. Put a tester seat.
Yeah. And, if there had been a tester seat, if there had been a long line and not a tester seat, I probably wouldn't have tried it just because I don't, you don't know and you don't want to wait.
But we waited less than 5 minutes.
But yeah, we waited 5 to 10 minutes and we, were able to give it a whirl.
So it's a good ride though. It is a good ride. Most of the rides at Dollywood are very nice rides. They're very good rides. Mm-hmm. There's none of them that I would not recommend riding.
No, they're all well worth trying out.
And they do have quite a few roller coasters at Dollywood.
They do now. Lightning Rod, like we mentioned, has been their problem child.
But it's getting ready to go through.
Years, ever since it opened. It's the launch wooden coaster that you've probably heard about. And the launch just never would consistently work. So they are shutting it down as of the 30th. So the 30th of this month, October 30th, will be the last day you can ride it in its current format if you can catch it operational.
They are going to do some reworks on it. It will reopen.
It will reopen
in a different
March.
way.
And they are going to put a traditional high-speed chain lift to get you up that hill.
Which is a steep hill.
Which is, yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, after this, they also do have the, after we had time for a small dance party, had to get the groove on.
Yeah.
So with some of our skeleton friends.
Yeah. One thing that Dollywood also does is the Harvest Festival, but at night, they have what they call the Great Pumpkin LumiNights. And basically it's just through about half of the park, they have sculptured like pumpkin designs that glow. These are not like real pumpkins. They're just, fake looking pumpkins that have been carved to resemble certain things. There's a guitar, there's a butterfly, there's
Cider.
a spider, and my favorite, a pumpkin man that's posed like a 80s
Album
cover.
So.
And then when you're walking down from Thunderhead and the top area of Dollywood where all the big rides are, there's like a light tunnel that you can go through, and then
it's all good.
As he mentioned, our dancing pumpkin friends.
It's all good. It was enjoyable. So we had no intentions of staying for the night part of it. Just wasn't in the plans for the day.
We wanted to walk around.
I recommend you do.
Mm-hmm. It's very much worth seeing.
So we get back to the front and we realize that we have 2 left.
We have 2 credits left on our tasting pass.
So what do? So we decided let's have some more dessert. So we hopped into the ice cream shop. They have 2 items available. How convenient.
Why not?
So we got the pumpkin milkshake and
the Belgian waffle ice cream sandwich covered in Heath bars.
And then we proceeded to sit down to try these out.
Yeah. I will say that this pumpkin milkshake was probably one of the best milkshakes I've ever had.
Yeah, we had the pumpkin milkshake at Mickey's Not So Scary, and everybody was talking about how great it was and delicious. It was disgusting.
It's horrible.
Let's just be honest here. And I'm a fan of Disney snacks.
I don't even know that it was ice cream.
This was terrible.
It was horrible. But this was
not
creamy, and it wasn't overpowering in the pumpkin flavoring. And
it was perfect.
Yeah, you still had the vanilla notes from the vanilla ice cream.
Yeah,
it was delicious.
This milkshake grabbed Mickey and just slapped him upside the head and said, "Quit making that crap."
Yeah,
because this was good. It was really good. My only complaint about this, paper straws. I understand.
Yeah.
Paper straws and milkshakes do not go together. Stop this.
After about half of the milkshake, the paper straw just disintegrated, and you just have to turn the cup up from there.
I'm all for saving the planet, but this just does not work.
No.
Let's come up with something else.
And then we had the waffle sandwich.
Which the picture looked amazing.
It looked amazing. It was just okay.
It was.
The waffle was soggy, and I wished it had been fresh and hot.
Some cinnamon sugar on the waffle.
Some flavoring on the waffle.
It was just okay.
Yeah.
It was edible.
Okay. It was fine. We just didn't finish it because it just wasn't worth the calories or the time to try to eat it.
It was kind of messy and it's just all right. It was probably my least favorite of the day.
It was my least favorite of the day.
And it just wasn't good.
Yes. Now there were tons more that we could have done. There's so much on this tasting pass. Most of the tasting items are at the front of the park. There's a few sprinkled out throughout the park other than at the front, but it's mostly heavily right there in the front of the park. So keep that in mind. When you go in as Charles was mentioning, pick up one of these festival programs, you'll be able to see some of the artisans and the entertainers that they're going to have throughout the festival. There is also a list of all of the shows.
And these are really good shows.
See, if you've Dollywood is definitely very deeply rooted in Appalachian history and influence. So you're going to have a lot of country, western, bluegrass bands, a lot of instrument, very heavy in the instrumental type music. You're not going to have a lot of top 40 stuff here. It's very much going to be quaint.
They have a theme and they stick with it.
They do.
They know who they are.
So, yeah, very, very good.
But we had a fantastic day. I mean, if I was ranking this day on a scale from 1 to 10, I would give it a solid 8.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just really had a good time. I wasn't in a hurry, took my time. The weather, it also helps that the weather was absolutely amazing.
Yes, it was.
Perfect temperatures, just beautiful fall day. Good food, good times. Company was okay. The rides were good. So, yeah, I mean, it was a good day. So that was our day at the Dollywood Harvest Festival. The next festival on their list is
Smoky Mountain Christmas.
Smoky Mountain Christmas, probably the most popular.
Yes, and
coming soon.
It's very much worth the trip if you are close by or if you want to plan a vacation over in this area. I'd love to help you with that, but seeing Dollywood at Christmas should be up there on your bucket list if you're a theme park adventurer.
And there's a lot to do in Pigeon Forge too. I mean, Christmas and Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg are fantastic. So,
yep.
We will have videos of that coming soon. We definitely plan on attending these events.
Yeah.
And I don't have anything else, Robin.
I don't either. Please make sure to like us and follow wherever you're listening or watching. Give us a subscribe, invite your friends. And until next time, friends, we'll see you later. Arrivederci.
What are you doing?
Arrivederci.
Thought it was Toodles.
Toodaloo.
What in?
Ciao. I am the ending of It's a Small World.
I'm muting her mic now. Goodbye, people.